Hello everyone and happy Friday evening. So I've been home for about 24 hours and it's been good. I've got my suitcase unpacked. I've got all my little swaps or little trinkets and gifts and everything. I should have come on with my cowboy hat. Maybe that'll be for a different day. Stampin' Up! Treated us leaders just so fabulous out in Las Vegas. I'm glad to be home, but I'm not gonna lie, it was a fantastic time there. Just the things that they do for us as leaders so that we can better serve you and our teams is just phenomenal. Just filled my cup to be away, and it was a quick few days. They jammed a lot into the whole event, and so because of that, I hope to implement little things. I felt like this was one of those times where they gave us so many bite-sized pieces, it will be easier for me to implement them instead of feeling overwhelmed by things too. But the things that you guys like are not going to change. They're not going to go away, so don't worry about lots of changes because I know what you guys like, and I like to keep things the way you like it too. So with that, I'm going to make a very quick and easy Christmas card for you guys. So this card has been at an event before, and with that, sometimes when I'm designing for my classes, I will go, gosh, that card maybe took a while, or that card's maybe going to take them a while, or there's a lot of die cutting to do while they're making the card. So I try and come up with maybe a quicker and easier project for one of them so that nothing seems too overwhelming on the whole at an event. So let me get my camera turned around here. Hi there, Chris. Hi, Pam. So yes, the Holly Jolly, or the Jolly Holly. I always want to call this bundle the Jolly Holly, or the Holly Jolly, but it is the Jolly Holly. So this is a online exclusive bundle, and the Jolly Holly comes with a fantastic stamp set, and it just has like everything that you need for Christmas. It's got your traditional images and sentiments, and I have been using this all the time because I love the tiny little greetings. Like last week, I used the Merry and Christmas on that little suitcase treat box, and so that was fun to get that, and then the bigger images and greetings from that too. So now the Jolly Holly hybrid embossing folder are part of this. Chris, yes, I did see you out in Las Vegas. So this is a hybrid embossing folder. I'm only using the embossing folder, and I've pre-embossed it, as you can see here, and so that ran through there. But where the rest of it comes in is that you can, oops, let's just stick to itself. You can take this out, and then that feeds into here, and then you can cut out all these fun holly leaves and decorate your projects with that too. And then it has different poinsettias. The I actually have this here because I was going to use it on a different thing. So this is some little holly berries and the leaves there, the poinsettia, some Christmas bells, and then I will also show you, because I'm using it today, it has a couple fun stitched rectangle dies. So there's one that cuts out like this, and I love it on crumb cake. It almost makes it look kind of leathery or suede-like because of that. And then so there's the one size, they're both meant to nest together here. So this also has the stitch, and you'll see that there's a joy because I love the paper saving technique to show you guys when I can. So you'll see the joy here I cut out of there because it's going to get covered up, and that'll make more sense as I go along. But that is also part of those same Jolly Holly dies. So I wanted to be sure and show you where that comes from. All right, so let me just scoot this aside. Like I said, this comes together pretty quick and easy. And sometimes I'm afraid, like when I do classes, I'll show this to my husband if he's around, like, hey, what do you think of this card? And he's like, oh, I just like it because it's just kind of simple, kind of Christmassy looking. Well, yeah, it is. I like the coziness. I think like the darker colors with the shaded spruce and the cherry cobbler and the crumb cake together just made it look really like kind of that older, cozier Christmas feel, like that. Hello there, Lynette. So for this, it, like I said, comes together pretty easy. So I've pre-scored my cherry cobbler base. It's folding the long way there at the 5.5, and this is all ready to put on my adhesive, and I like to try and get as close to the corners as I can when I'm using 3D embossing folders, because a lot of times they are a little bit thicker in design and popping that up and such. So I'm going to give that a good press down. Now my disclaimer for this is I loved the cherry cobbler. I felt like it, like I said, kind of coordinated better with the shaded spruce and the crumb cake together. So I just brought some of my retired cherry cobbler ribbon. And I used to feel bad about if a certain ribbon wasn't in stock, but we have so many options, so many choices. And I know a lot of people got this last year, the cherry cobbler with the gold edge. So that was fun to lay out. And I had cherry cobbler seam binding and even some cherry cobbler like shiny ribbon too. So I thought, well, since I use kind of a thicker one there, I'm going to use a different one here on this. So actually, I'm going to take it right off the spool. I don't know about you guys, but I get kind of excited when I've actually used up a spool of ribbon. I love ribbon, so I love buying ribbon, and because I always want to make sure I have enough bought for a class, I make sure that I buy plenty of it. And so I've got lots of spools, which I have in turn brought as choices to classes, and people love the choices, but they also like seeing what is available because like we've got so many nice ribbons. So I always like to show what is available and go with that too. Right, I'll get my ribbon cutting scissors here. I'm just going to trim that off there and there. And some people like thinner ribbon, thicker ribbon, so that's the joy in bringing choices too. But the rest of this is all available. Sometimes I feel like I'll get a little bump or a little bit of curl in my ribbon. I don't know if you can even see it on camera. Sometimes it's hardly visible. Hi there, Connie. And so with that, I just take a little glue dot and I poke that up with my take your pick tool and just kind of lay that down just underneath my knot where it wants to kind of bubble up or kind of curl, and then that just lets it lay nice and flat. So sometimes when that happens on live video, I don't count that as a mistake. I count that as a, ooh, I can teach them what to do when this happens. All right, so then let's get out the shaded spruce ink pad here, and from the Jolly Holly stamp set that I just showed you, I'm going to take just the word Christmas. I'm going to ink that up, and I'm going to stamp that across the top here. Hopefully I can get that lined up. There we go. So across the top and over to the side. And like I said, what I did then with the set of dies, because this all nests, I ahead of time cut out the word joy, and that is also part of the Jolly Holly hybrid embossing folder, all the die cuts. So I cut that out of there, knowing that this is going to get put on top. So I will, let's see, now I actually want to pop this up. So let me get some dimensionals here, and I'm going to pop that up like so. And take those off, and then I can just nest that right on top there like so. And then I'm just going to take some regular adhesive here and just go across that, and then that's ready to go on here. And then we can follow through. It feels a little crooked, so when it feels crooked in my eyes, I'm like, is it the top layer or the bottom layer? I think we've got it going good now. Okay, and so then what I'm going to do is just take these little glue dots. I could have put the adhesive sheets on there, but with this, it's just sometimes nice for classes to have things like, and this is thicker too, that they can just put their adhesive on or use my glue dots to do that at classes, because sometimes if I want to cut this ahead of time, it likes to stick to each other, and I could have just one globby mess of joys all stuck together, and that wouldn't be fun either. And then if it sticks out, I try and put it on the thicker areas where there's more cardstock, but if any wants to stick out on the sides, I just kind of curl and ball that up underneath there. So now we have the Christmas joy, and isn't that just like cozy fun looking there? I love that look. And then for the embellishments, you guys know I can't walk away from the embellishments. We have the delightful decorative dots from the holiday mini catalog going on right now. So I'm just going to take, I love the kind of like a pearlized look to it. I'm going to take one of the kind of cream colored, which coordinates really well with the crumb cake. I'm going to take the largest of that, and then a medium, whoops, this one lost its backing. I think if I don't take that up and put on there, it's going to fall off. So kind of like its own little glue dot there. So I'm going to do a medium of the red, and then I'm going to do a medium again of the pearl up here, and then another one of the red here, like so. Kind of wanted to slide off. Sometimes after classes, things get a little crazy. Not the worst, because I love my stampers, but it just, hopefully they get the backing on their adhesives. I'm always telling them, you need one of those take your pick tools, because it really helps to get those embellishments off. All right, so here we have that added on, just like a little subtle look there for the front. Now for the inside, I love, like I said, the sentiments there from the Jolly Holly stamp set. So I'm just taking a 4 by 5 1/4, very vanilla, and I'm going to ink up. Oops, gotta make sure that I have it going the right way. May the spirit of the season bring you hope, happiness, and love. And I did that in the shaded spruce again to follow through with that same color. Now this is just ready to go on the inside. Oops. And make sure that that's not crooked either. There we go. So we've got that. So the only difference between the two, a little bit narrower ribbon, and then this one's a little bit thicker, but they're both kind of shiny and such too. So hopefully you enjoyed just a quick and easy Christmas card sample. So upcoming, what I have, whoops, get that turned around. I have a class in Adelia, Community Ed class on Monday, and I do have a few spots left for that. So if you haven't signed up yet and you're wondering if there is spots, I think I've got like 5 spots left. So 5 spots left for sure. So there is still spots available, and I'll be busy getting ready for that in the meantime. So hopefully I'll see you there or see you here live sometime soon. Take care. Have a great weekend.